So, hi everyone. Today our presentation is going to be on blockchain. So my name is Keely.
I'm Brody.
I'm
I'm
Logan.
Logan.
And I'm Chase.
Okay, so for our table of contents, so we're going to introduce what blockchain is and give a little bit of background on the case. Then we're going to talk about business implications of blockchain, the role of data and information in blockchain, how information technology in blockchain works, and future directions, and finally our conclusion. So, what is blockchain? Blockchain is a shared and immutable ledger, which can then record transactions and track assets in a business network. And these assets can include tangibles such as houses, cars, and land. But basically, anything of value can be tracked and traded on a blockchain network. So it doesn't have any restrictions, just as long as it's an asset, it can then be tracked and traded through blockchain. And with blockchain, it also reduces the risks and cuts costs of different items. So it is gonna like reduce like those networks' risks and the costs. So why is blockchain important? So businesses run on information, and the faster information is received and the more accurate the information is for a business, the better. So with blockchain, it can deliver information quickly, and the information needs to be received quickly and accurate, like I said earlier. So it is going to be very important for a business to receive that information accurately and quickly. Information in a blockchain is immediate, shared, and observable. And with that, you can track orders, payments, accounts, production, etc. So network members within a business are the only ones who have access to the information. So you can only have, if you are a permission network member, you're going to be the one to have access to all of the information that is shared through the blockchain. And with the tracking orders, payments, accounts, and production, you have access to seeing all of those details in a transaction. So with being able to see all the details of a transaction, it can give greater confidence, new efficiencies, and opportunities for the business and the consumer. So now I'm going to talk about the three key elements of a blockchain. So the first one is going to be the distributed ledger technology. With the distributed ledger technology, all network participants have access to the ledger and transactions. It is also going to be recorded once and eliminating all duplications. With the distributed ledger technology, it's going to be something that is going to be a lot of businesses use in order to have all of the access to the transactions available. With our immutable records, no participant can change or tamper transactions after it's being recorded. So once a transaction is recorded, no one is allowed to go back in, change it, or tamper it whatsoever. However, if there is an error within the transaction, a new transaction has to be added in order to reverse the error. And both of those transactions will be visible. So the original one is still going to be visible to viewers, and it's not just going to disappear once the new one is added. And finally, our third key element is going to be called smart contracts. The smart contracts defines the conditions for corporate bond transfers, which includes the terms for travel insurance to be paid for. So that's an example of a smart contract. Smart contracts also automate execution of agreements so that all participants are aware of the outcome after the agreement is settled. It also automates workflow and to trigger the next action when the predetermined conditions are met. So these smart contracts will be something that you can use to see what your next action should be after you've met those conditions that are going to be kind of like prerequisites for that action. So now we're going to introduce our case. So our case was called How Blockchain and Cryptocurrency Can Revolutionize Businesses. And the case solely focused on the company Bitcoin. So Bitcoin was proposed by Satoshi Nakamoto, and it came around in 2009. So with Bitcoin, blockchain is actually the technological base of it. It is a revolutionized existing financial system to enable reliable transactions to occur through a decentralized system, sorry. And with the use of blockchain, Bitcoin was able to create a new economic system on how to communicate over the internet with others when it comes to different transactions. So with once the transaction is added into the blockchain within Bitcoin, the block cannot be modified. So like I mentioned earlier, it's kind of like that immutable record. So once it's added into the blockchain system, no one can go in and tamper it or change it, even if there's an error. So if there's an error, like I said before, you have to add a new transaction in order to reverse it, and then both of them will be seen. So Bitcoin does kind of follow those immutable records, a key element that the blockchain has. And with Bitcoin, it was a successful application of blockchain, which then led into like the cryptocurrency that the case further talked about.
Next, I'll be discussing the implications that blockchain has on businesses. So first, it will improve security and reliability of business data management. And with it being immutable, it helps to prevent the data from being changed or just accessed by an unauthorized user. And encryption helps to protect it, secure it, and validate it. That way, only authorized users should be able to access it or decrypt it. And then with it being decentralized, it helps improve reliability as well, since power across the blockchain is distributed across many users rather than a single authority. So it can help prevent manipulation, data manipulation, or abuse of powers and just help maintain data integrity. And then second, it'll increase efficiency of business processes and operations with traceability. It helps businesses be able to like backtrack or just view the history of whatever process or operation, which can ultimately help identify root causes of any issues, which then can be addressed and help improve efficiency. And then tokens are like a digital form of ownership of physical and digital assets. And then smart contracts were just talked about earlier, just automated once all the obligations are met, and those two work closely together to help streamline processes, things like making it management and transferring of assets much more easier and convenient. It can actually eliminate intermediaries that are needed to complete a process or a transaction by eliminating a middleman. And then it can also minimize errors. Smart contracts with like detailed terms of agreements or obligations to help any errors or accidental things that to occur. And then the last thing is there are some legal and regulatory considerations. With it being decentralized, it can sometimes lack a clear legal framework, and sometimes the blockchain can cross different jurisdictions, and so it can make regulatory compliance difficult. For example, like a smart contract, if one party interprets it another way and then the other side doesn't like agree with that, finding a resolution can be difficult with the lack of legal clear framework, and then also the multiple national or international jurisdictions that it can cross. It can be difficult to determine which laws or uh, regulations are applicable in that situation. And then just continuing on, these are some of the industries that are impacted by blockchain. A supply chain can definitely be increased, like the efficiency can be improved with traceability, being able to see where your resources or your goods are coming from, which can ultimately help with recalls or identifying uh, just the inefficient processes in the business. And then the example in the case study was Walmart being able to see where your produce is from, which can help with disease outbreak. And then for financial services, wealth management can definitely be helped out and increase in efficiency with tokens and smart contracts. Um, with a digital form of ownership, it can definitely be more easier to manage assets, and then smart contracts can make the transferring or exchange of assets much more easier as well. And for auditing, that can be helped out with traceability, being able to kind of backtrack the financial activity of businesses can make auditing more quicker, efficient, and just overall accurate. And then the last industry was healthcare. Medical records and patient information can definitely be more securely stored and prevent unauthorized changes on those records, which can definitely be sensitive information. And then the last thing was research or just clinical trials. That data can also be secured and protected on a blockchain, and just to prevent any changes or from someone trying to go in and change the results that or the research data. And it can also be easily shared across the blockchain as well.
All right, so now for the role of data and information in a blockchain, there's a couple key concepts that we've already kind of mentioned them, but to go more in depth, decentralization is like one of the core elements of a blockchain technology, and in a traditional system, data is typically stored and managed by a central authority, such as like a bank or government. But however, blockchain like flips this concept by distributing data across a network of like nodes or computers. And this decentralization like eliminates the need for a middleman, which reduces costs and prevents like single points of failure, and increases system resilience. And then for immutability, this is what makes like blockchain trustworthy. Like mentioned earlier, once you like put it in, it can't be like changed or deleted. This is achieved through like cryptographic hashing and the way blocks are linked together in a chain. This feature ensures that like integrity of the data and builds the trust among participants. For example, in supply chain management, this means that every step a product takes from manufacturing to delivery is permanently like recorded, creating a transparent and tamper-proof history. And then for transparency, is another powerful feature. Every participant in the blockchain network has access to the same version of the ledger. This shared visibility ensures accountability because all transactions are visible to the network. Think about like industries like food safety, Walmart, is they're all using blockchain to track the journey of food products. If a if contamination issue arises, blockchain enables them to trace the source of the problem within seconds. And where in another situation, if they weren't using blockchain, it would take like much longer. It could even possibly take weeks. And then for security, it's just simply designed to be a lot more secure than all the rest. Data is encrypted using advanced cryptographic techniques, making it highly resistant to tampering and hacking, which is a huge problem now with the technology being super high tech. It's very easy to hack. Additionally to the decentralized nature of blockchain ensures that even one node is compromised, the entire system remains secure. So like if one goes down, then like it doesn't destroy the rest of it. And this makes blockchain especially valuable for protecting the sensitive information such as financial records, medical data, or intellectual property. And then next slide. And then Sean mentioned earlier about smart contracts, but smart contracts are like self-executing contracts where the terms of the agreement are written into code. And once predefined conditions are met, the contract automatically like executes, removing the need for intermediaries. For instance, in real estate, a smart contract could automatically transfer ownership of a property when payment is received, simplifying the process and like reducing the amount of errors that could happen. And then for examples in action, it's already transforming industries like SyncFab, for example, connects buyers with manufacturers through a blockchain platform, offering real-time updates, IP protection, and automated payments. In the biomedical field, Bio IP Seeds enables researchers to share ideas securely while safeguarding intellectual property, fostering collaboration without compromising sensitive information, which is huge because you want to keep that very discreet. And then consensus mechanisms. So these are how blockchain networks agree on the oh my gosh, I can't pronounce it. Validity of transactions. The most well-known is proof of work, used by Bitcoin, which was mentioned earlier, which requires solving complex mathematical problems. While secure, it's slow and energy intensive. Emerging mechanisms like proof of stake address these issues, offering faster and more efficient validation. These innovations are helping blockchain evolve into a more secure and environmentally friendly technology.
So I'll be building just a little bit deeper on what my group has already discussed, and then building a little bit more on how blockchain technology is transforming industries through decentralization and token economies. Then I'll also explore how businesses adopt blockchain strategically to address specific challenges and highlight its applications in real world scenarios. So starting out with one of blockchain's most revolutionary features, decentralization, blockchain allows data and transactions to be managed across a peer-to-peer network, eliminating the need for central authorities like banks or intermediaries. This creates a system that isn't only more secure, but it's also more equitable. Here's why this matters. In a decentralized system, individuals and businesses can transact directly with one another. For example, instead of relying on a bank to process payments, blockchain enables trust through its cryptographic design. Because every transaction is encrypted and stored across multiple nodes in the network, it's nearly impossible to alter the data or even commit fraud. Decentralization isn't just a technological advantage, it's reshaping how businesses and industries function by fostering direct and secure relationships between participants. This creates opportunities to rethink traditional business models and improve efficiency. Talking about the token economy, this concept goes hand in hand with decentralization. A token is a digital asset that's stored on a blockchain, and it can represent anything from money to property rights to voting power. This is important because in a traditional system, profits often flow to a single organization, such as a platform or intermediary. In a token economy, value can be distributed more equitable among all contributors, content creators, users, and service providers. Tokens enable businesses to create entirely new ways of generating and sharing revenue. For example, platforms like Brave Browser reward users with tokens for their attention while browsing ads. The token economy is particularly impactful in industries such as gaming, entertainment, and content creation, where decentralized systems allow creators to retain more control and earn a larger share of the revenue. It's not just about the disruption, it's about empowering individuals and businesses to create and share more effectively. The strategic adoption of blockchain, while blockchain has immense potential, its adoption must be strategic. Businesses can't just implement blockchain because it's a trendy thing. They have to have a clear understanding of the problems they're solving and the value that blockchain brings to their stakeholders. Identifying specific problems, blockchain works best when it's addressing well-defined challenges. For example, it's ideal for problems that involve trust, transparency, or inefficiencies in process. Aligning blockchain with organizational goals. The best blockchain solutions are those that align with the company's broader objectives and capabilities. For instance, a supply chain company such as Walmart benefits from blockchain by improving real-time tracking and transparency, but this might not be as relevant for a small-scale retailer. Leverage blockchain's core functions. The data verification blockchain ensures the integrity of all data. Asset authentication verifies the ownership of assets such as intellectual property or rare items. Efficiency gains automate processes with smart contracts, which execute tasks when preset conditions are met. And by taking a systematic approach to blockchain adoption, businesses can ensure that they're getting meaningful value from the technology rather than just following a trend. Application across industries. Let's move on to real-world applications of blockchain. These examples show how companies in different industries are already leveraging blockchain to solve significant problems. Supply chain transparency, which has kind of already been discussed with Walmart, using blockchain to track food products from farms to the store shelves. This improves the trust and ensures food safety. For instance, in the event of a contamination issue, blockchain allows Walmart to trace the source of a product within seconds. Intellectual property management. Blockchain is transforming how artists, writers, and musicians get paid. By using smart contracts, platforms can automatically distribute royalties as soon as a song is streamed or a book is sold, eliminating disputes over payments. Asset authentication in industries such as luxury goods, diamonds, blockchain is being used to verify the authenticity of products. A diamond, for example, can be tracked on the blockchain to ensure it's ethically sourced and hasn't been tampered with. Finance and banking. Blockchain is also reducing the cost of international money transfers by bypassing traditional banking systems and their high fees. Each of these use case demonstrations how blockchain addresses specific pain points while creating new opportunities for innovation and efficiencies. So just some of the key takeaways. Blockchain's decentralized nature is reshaping how businesses operate by reducing reliance on intermediaries and increasing trust. The token economy is creating new ways to exchange and distribute value, particularly in industries where fair compensation has historically been a challenge. Strategic adoption of blockchain is essential. Businesses need to identify specific problems, align blockchain solutions with their goals, and leverage its core functionalities for maximum impact. Real-world applications such as chain transparency, intellectual property management, and asset authentication show how blockchain can solve significant challenges while fostering innovation.
And some of the future directions, blockchain is going to need legal and institutional support to thrive. And because crypto is traded globally, regulation with government and private sectors will help fight fraud and market manipulation. The higher processing speed will help scalability. The current TPS is low right now, and ultimately, if blockchain wants to become the next big thing within just the global economy, it's going to have to speed up the TPS, and currently the processing speed just isn't there. And like I said, government collaboration with private sectors will help integrate into the global economy because it is traded globally to help against like fraud and market manipulation. The governments are going to have to intervene and pair up with these private sectors to create an even playing field across the globe. And the conclusion, blockchain is a ledger shared between users. It's a public distributed ledger. It keeps track of all transactions and makes transactions smoother. It makes hacking and alterations essentially impossible and simplifies the whole process. It makes the sharing of information easier and smoother. It makes it quick and seamless. It tracks orders, payments, accounts. Users between transactions can see the ledger. Everyone gets a copy. Key elements, distributed ledger technology, immutable records, and smart contracts. And it's based on cryptocurrency. And like we said, Bitcoin is the king of crypto right now, and it creates a new economic system. Some of the benefits, it's extremely secure and reliable. It's efficient, legal, and easy to regulate. And some of the business aspects that are good that we have seen with tracing goods, wealth management, and medical records, it can be implemented in those sectors and be extremely useful. And that's somewhere that the world is leaning right now. And with data, it doesn't need a central authority to maintain. It doesn't need like we said, like a bank or a different central authority. It's kind of its own thing. And the algorithms are complex and hard to alter from a hacking standpoint, which is what makes it so secure and reliable. Yeah, thank you.